Well, I think it's about time I talk about Pebble.
This is the Andre Segovia Show.
Pebble is back. Now, I can't pronounce his last name, but Eric, who founded Pebble, which went on to be one of the most successful Kickstarter crowdfunding campaigns ever to bring these things to fruition, he not only was bringing the hardware back, but he recently got the brand name back. So literally, Pebble is back. And I couldn't be more excited because once you finally take a look at it, it's like, dude, really this? Because for many of us, the Pebble Watch was like our first entry into smartwares, and it was probably the one that got it done best. It wasn't trying to be pretentious. It wasn't trying to be the computer on your wrist. It was trying to be just that, a second screen without having to pull your phone out to see what was happening. I want to go through some of these posts that Eric has posted to both X and his blog. This is like the look at the Pebble 2 steel, is that what's called? The Pebble Time 2 display. So that's what they're calling it. So this, the Pebble Time, which is this here, it looks like the same body construction with this, the 3 buttons to the right side and then the one to the right. These don't turn on anymore, unfortunately. But the way it looked like was like this, with the chunkier bezels on the old one. You would see that the screen was actually smaller, but through some upscaling, which is pretty awesome that this was recently announced by Eric, they're able to fill out the space so you can bring some of the older stuff into this. So I'm looking forward to seeing taking advantage of more of the screen real estate on the Pebble Steel, or Pebble Time in this case. I think I bought my watch about 12 years ago, and I did buy the plastic ones, like the white one, the black one, and then I bought the Pebble 2, which was the next generation up, and that's right before Eric ended up selling off to Fitbit, unfortunately. So we were disappointed when that happened because we knew it was going to happen. Had hoped that the ecosystem at Fitbit would have taken, Pebble to new heights, but we didn't get that. Instead, what we got was they just took the community and ditched the hardware and did their own thing. No, when Google bought Fitbit, they did open source the software for Pebble. And through a very passionate community, through Rebel, we're able to basically keep the community alive. The next update that he had posted, this was from August, when he said the Pebble 2 Duo is in mass production. So this is from October 1st, production status update. They manufactured almost 3,000 Pebble 2 Duos in September. Pretty good for the first month of production. These watches have been transferred to our fulfillment partner, which will ship them out to you. But Hong Kong and China just went on the week-long holiday. That's October 1st, October 8th. Some of these white Pebble 2 Duos got shipped out before then, but most will likely ship after the holiday. Just as I record this, another update from Eric, and this is on his blog, which is this, the Pebble App Store. It looks like they're bringing back some of the classic different apps that we had before, and they're upscaling to be able to work on the new one. So that's really cool, man. I just love to see that. Now, I will tell you about some things that I hope that Eric has addressed on the watches, because I experienced them here on these steel versions of the watch. So this one that we see is the steel version, and the other one is the core. The duo. It used to be called core, now it's duo. Those were the plastic ones, but now we have the App Store. It looks to be more lively and just my goodness, it's awesome. Oh, they partnered with Rebel. Rebel Alliance has been keeping the Pebble Gym alive. Yeah, like I said. So many of you have used their web services, Discord, helpful instructions, or Dev Portal. I'm a huge fan. I've become a daily active user since 2017. Without Rebel, it's unlikely that the Pebble community would be as intact as it is today. Absolutely. So I'm glad they partnered up, and they'll be bringing it back. So I look forward to seeing some of my favorite apps and watch faces transfer over and be upscaled. The problems that I faced were always with the buttons, and Eric did mention that the buttons are going to be a little more stiff on these new watches, and they were already pretty stiff on the steel ones, and I believe it has to do a lot with the waterproofing of it. It's just will if they don't have that much travel, would they at least be accurate? Because that's one of the problems I had with the first generation Pebble Steel, where you had to really, really, really press into the watch buttons to be able to get some responses on it. And sometimes, in the case of the main selection button, which is the center button here on the right hand side, it's just stopped working altogether. So I did buy a second one of these, and that one worked much better than the earlier versions of these. But I did notice that some of those problems still carried over to the new generation Pebble Time Steel watches for the color display. So that was a persistent gripe of mine that I hope is addressed with this. But just to give a recap for those that are not familiar with Pebble, this is what you get to expect from these Pebble watches. So the Pebble 2 Duo is a 1.2-inch black-white e-paper screen, a polycarbonate frame, black or white. It has barometer and compass, formerly known as Core 2. That's because when he launched this almost a year earlier this year, it was Core 2 Duo, but because he was able to buy the brand back, he was able to call these Pebble. So it's just an awesome thing to see it all come together. Okay, so now the Pebble Time 2 is a bigger screen, at 1.5-inch 64 color e-paper screen, a metal frame, and multiple color options. That's interesting because I'm curious to see what the color options would be. Would they match the bands as they show here in the pictures or elsewhere? Because that is really nice. I like the idea of being able to match the bands. It'll come with a heart rate monitor, and it was formerly known as the Core Time 2. And it's like the 2016 era Pebble Time 2, which is the one that I have here, but better. I sure hope so. So some of the standard features, as they highlighted here for both models: 30-day battery life, IPX8 water resistance. So I'm curious to how dust rated this is. It runs Pebble OS, which is open source, 10,000 watch faces and apps on the Pebble App Store. Awesome. Step and sleep tracking, microphone, and speaker. What it doesn't have is LTE or future 5G on this, so you don't have to worry about that. If you don't want the radiation on your hand, like you would be getting from an Apple Watch or a Pixel Watch or any of the Samsung watches with that kind of stuff. But let's see, any more full details here? I'm going to have to share a different screen. So let me see. This was from the earlier update that he posted back in March. And let's see. It's something specific that's not, well, it's an always on e-paper screen. So yeah, I love it. A multicolored RGB LED backlight. It has a compass and flat glass lens. Oh yeah, that might be a difference maker. So it has two microphones and a speaker, so that means for calls and maybe a recording app. Standard interchangeable 22mm watch strap with quick release pins. So that means that I should be able to use the current ones I have now, and hopefully too some of the old watch bands that I have for the old models. So I look forward to trying that out. It has a standard Pebble charger. Let's see what else. They both use the same strap with 22 millimeters, and they work with iPhone and Android apps. That's the best part. This is cross-platform, which is why I'm excited to see the return of Pebble. So for those of you that are new around here, I work in construction, property management, and I'm a real estate broker in Southern California. In my early years as a real estate broker, I, as a favor, did a transaction for a short sale to help this couple. I literally almost died doing that transaction. And that's primarily why I have one of these, because it was anything that could go wrong did go wrong. And it was just so much anxiety as so many things were happening. Lawsuits were flying and all this and that. Like, oh my goodness, I got into this to do a favor, and now I'm in the midst of all this. And then even getting the state of California inadvertently involved in the transaction was just like adding more to what was ultimately I felt was collateral damage that people that didn't need to be squeezed into the drama were getting swept into it. So if you're interested in hearing the entirety of that story, then the link will be down below. I streamed the entire thing for Rumble. But when it comes to why I ended up doing this, because getting one of these is because I was driving in a canyon pass in between two freeways because it's just too much traffic. I was trying to get to another property, and because at the time I was using a BlackBerry, and the blinking light just was anxiety inducing. Okay, and every time that light would blink and I would pull up and there would be another message or another email about bad news about the transaction, it was just consuming all of me. So every time that light was blinking, I knew I had to check it. And this time when I reached for my phone that was in my cup holders, I was driving an SUV in a canyon pass. I almost swerved off the canyon pass. And when I pulled over to the side and I picked up my phone, I'm like, my goodness, this is ridiculous. This is just, it's consuming me so much. It was a spam email. I could have died over a stupid spam email. So I'm like, you know what? I need a watch of some kind, if it exists, to be able to at least take a peek at my emails without having to worry about having to pick up my phone and respond if I had to, And that's when I discovered Pebble. It became a central part of my everyday tech. And I've done reviews on Pebble. You can actually find my reviews on YouTube when I did the Tech Corner. And I talked at length about Pebble. I absolutely love Pebble. I hated to see them go, but I stayed true with the community. But then when those apps, some of them were removed from the stores, it was becoming really difficult to sideload some of the stuff. It wasn't working. And in the case of the steel ones that I wanted to use the most, they just weren't connecting anymore, and now they won't even turn on. So it's like, okay, I couldn't use them anymore. So this news of it coming back, it means a lot, to see something nostalgic and tech come back, because it's less distracting than from these guys, even though they have their conveniences like Apple Watch and Pixel Watch and all that. But it's just, there's nothing like a Pebble, or maybe even Garmin, that can connect to both iOS and Android operating systems. So I look forward to being able to get my hands on one of these and be able to connect it, maybe even to the Google devices, because I'm sure it would be able to, especially since it's open source. Why not, right? But I look forward to testing that when the time comes. But let me toss it over to you. Did you ever use a Pebble? And now that with Pebble coming back, did you order one? Are you looking forward to order one? Are you waiting for the reviews to come out, or you're waiting for the steel one, or the polycarbonate? I probably will get one of each. I don't know, but we'll see. But I definitely want to go for one of these. Well, since I brought up BlackBerry, I should mention to you that this week, as I record this, the Bring Back BlackBerry campaign is in full swing. So Kevin Mikola was in New York City having a hangout and a meetup, or something also with clicks and other things that are going on. If you don't know who Kevin Mikola is, he goes better known as Crackberry Kevin. So I definitely recommend you go follow him. He even suggested you follow him on LinkedIn if you are there, because he's gonna be bringing out some more updates, not just BlackBerry, but also another open source operating system that he has invested in, and he'll be giving out more updates on that. So I don't know how this is all gonna tie in together, but I can tell you is that just like Pebble is back, will BlackBerry be back too? If it's going to be possible, it'll be through the same community and passion, such as Kevin leading the way, and hopefully it will. If you haven't signed this petition, go to bringbackblackberry.com and add your name there. Let's get this thing rolling. Let's bring it back. And that's where I'll leave it. Thank you so very much for watching this episode of The Andres Segovia Show. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the know. Follow me across the socials at theandresegovia.com, and I'll see you in the next one.